Tropical storm Dolly. Yes, Dolly has officially formed in the Atlantic Basin, and yes, I am aware that the timing on this is pretty uncanny. I'm meteorologist Andrew Markowitz, and here's everything you need to know. Say hello to Tropical Storm Dolly, our fourth named storm of the 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. Amid a season where tropical activity has been very hard to come by in this side of the world, Dolly has had to work overtime beyond a 9 to 5 to gain tropical characteristics. In the last 24 hours, she has become much more organized as a result. Dolly has been aided by warmer than average sea surface temperatures in this part of the basin. However, Dolly has two big problems that will ultimately hinder her development. First, we continue to see strong wind shear across much of the basin, which is driven primarily by our record-setting El Nino. The second factor is that Dolly is surrounded by dry sinking air in all directions. Both of these factors negatively impact the structure of storms and make it difficult for them to grow. Moving forward, Dolly is expected to take a general west-northwest trajectory toward the Lesser Antilles, Puerto Rico, Hispaniola, and maybe even Cuba. That represents a sizable and continuous south and west shift from model runs earlier in the week, which had her recurving out to sea. The good news is Dolly is not expected to strengthen, remaining at low-end tropical storm intensity for the next 2 days or so. After that, she will progressively weaken back down to tropical depression status and may clock out entirely before reaching land. For those of you who are wondering, the name Dolly being used for this storm is purely by coincidence. Dolly just happens to be the fourth name out of a list of 21 on this year's list, and there are 6 rotating lists in total. The name Dolly has actually been in use repeatedly since 1996, when it replaced Hurricane Diana from 1990. When you consider that there are 126 rotating names, 21 times 6 plus the auxiliary list, the odds that Dolly would be named 2 days after Dolly Parton passes away have to be astronomically low. Again, purely a coincidence, but a crazy one at that. As far as impacts go, the main thing we're going to see is an uptick in rainfall across the Caribbean, and some of those bands could be heavy at times. That rainfall will actually be quite beneficial, as many of those areas are currently in significant to major drought. And to clarify things further, Dolly poses no threat to the mainland United States. Honestly, a weak storm that doesn't put anybody in harm's way and in some ways may be beneficial, I think that's actually the most fitting way to honor Dolly Parton's legacy. Rest in peace to a legend and an icon, and for continuous coverage of the tropics, please make sure to follow me on all social media platforms so you can stay weather aware.